Hey, what's up guys? The Pegassi Toros was a new vehicle that was introduced to GTA today as part of the Arena War DLC. In this video, we're going to do a quick tutorial on the customizable parts, as well as a quick review on my thoughts of the vehicle, and then later in the clip, I'm going to take it on my custom speed track to go ahead and test the top speed. I was pretty surprised. It did compare to some of the supercars that rank in at like the 5th or 8th fastest on that custom speed track that I have, so it is pretty deceiving as far as the speed. Unfortunately, this is an SUV, and it's in the SUV class. I wish it was, released as a sports car like some of the other cars that came out, like the Benefactor Streeter in the past. So I won't really race it that much because I primarily race sports cars and supercars. So here we go. As I've been doing in my videos, I already go ahead and purchase the engine upgrades, the turbo, the suspension, all those type of modifications to the car. I'm going to briefly run through each individual customizable part, just in case if you haven't bought the vehicle, it'll give you a good idea of how you can go ahead and set your car up, or by looking at this, maybe you decide that there's not the customizable options that you want, and maybe it's not worth it for you. So there are plenty of things that you can go ahead and customize on this car. There's plenty of options for the majority of the categories, and you can really style this up the way that you want to, and kind of make it look your own. So as I said here, there are some pretty interesting options for some of them, and some of them they're kind of basic. There might only be a couple options for, like, say the fenders and stuff like that, but regardless, you can go ahead and customize it to fit your style. Now, at $500,000, it's not that bad of a deal compared to all the cars that we were getting with the Arena War DLC, where they all started off at roughly, I think, like 1.5 to 2.1 million minimum, and that was with the trade price if you've done enough missions inside the Arena War to unlock those, or you can go ahead and purchase those outright for an increased price than if you actually unlock the certain features for the car. Now, I've tested this car, and I gotta say, it is a little surprising as far as the speed, and you'll get to see that in the very last clip when I do take it on that custom track that I have. It actually matches up with some of the supercars as far as the speed on that track, which was really surprising to me, because I did notice when you get the car and you even put the turbo and you modify the engine, put the upgrades on it, it feels like a sled at the very start, at least for the first couple seconds. But I guess at some point the acceleration really picks up, and I guess it has a really good top speed. As you can see right there, the top speed's pretty decent. The acceleration with the boost and everything like that, or with the turbo, is fully maxed out. The car does not have that great of braking, and the traction's pretty decent, especially for an SUV, which usually end up being a little top heavy. You will notice you can kind of drift pretty decently in this car, and you'll see in the clips that follow exactly what I'm talking about. So I actually really like the way it looks, just that base white color. I actually probably wish I just stuck with white and black and kind of just modified all the accessories to match that. I hate the fact that on the bottom of the doors you can't change that grayish or carbon fiber black color there. That's the only thing I really don't like about the car. I think it would be better if if that was just a solid color, or if you could actually put your own customizable color on that. You can at the bottom liner of the fender, but again, I wish you could go ahead and just modify that part. Now, one thing I want to say too about Rockstar, after numerous DLCs, and they have to obviously see a pattern. When a DLC comes out, people jump on the game, and then a couple weeks later, as people waiting for the drip feed vehicles or items to be introduced to the game, people kind of fall off. And I kind of hate the way Rockstar has done this, and they haven't really learned from the past that they always wait to put like the best vehicles toward the end. But what happens is, once the DLC comes out, people play it, and then as cars like this come out, people aren't really that interested enough to stick around. So if I were them, I would go ahead and put the best vehicles out within a week or two after the DLC being launched, just to kind of keep people interested, and then let them die off toward the end. It's really tough once people lose interest to come back 3 weeks later just because a new car comes out. But I guess that's just my opinion. So this is a style I ended up going with. It's just the race yellow with the black racing stripes. And so here we go with the car. I got the pedal down. It is a little slow in the beginning, but it is deceivingly fast. I will give this car a little bit of credit in that department. I was shocked as hell when I took it on my custom track and actually saw the speed of it, and it's pretty comparable to a car that is in the superclass that If I'm not mistaken by the stats on that custom track that I have, it's a car that's pretty much in like the top 5 to 8 slots out of the supercars, so it matches up pretty decently with some supercars, which kind of sucks that they would put this in the SUV class. I mean, it would have been better, I think, maybe in the sports class, because I think people would be able to get more use out of this car as far as racing. Now, one thing I also want to say, it is part of the Arena War DLC, but you cannot customize it or modify it with any of those Arena War attachments as far as like the weaponry, the armor, and that type of stuff. So it's basically just like a regular car that you would buy from, you know, Legendary Motorsports, and you can put those customizations on it. You can go into the Arena War DLC arena and customize it through your mechanic, but you will not get any of those upgrades that you could get on, like, say, the Scarab or that the ZR or the ZX 380 that I did a video on a couple days ago. So I know it's raining here, and I'm doing this test just because I like using these cinematic views. It's a little tough on the street, as you notice from some of my other clips. You know, it gets a little hectic trying to drive through the street when you got pedestrians and cars coming through. But even in the rain, it's still pretty much the same. The rain doesn't really affect the speed or the acceleration much at all. That's what I've noticed in the past couple of years doing these clips. But like I said, it is kind of slow to start, and then somehow this thing gets a shot out of hell, and it's fast as hell. So let's go ahead and take this out. Now you're gonna notice, I think at the end of this clip, I think I get a time of 21 point, let's say 6, I think. And right before this, I ended up racing the T20, and I was surprised the T20 finished in. I only raced it once. You know, sometimes when you race it multiple times, the times do change slightly. But I think when I raced that T20, it was somewhere around 21, either 21.25 or 21.4, which is roughly in spot 5 to 8 out of the supercars. So this does really pick up after that slow, sluggish start. Like I said, it's a slightly slower than the T20, which surprised the hell out of me. And you know, so it's not a bad car for $500,000. I don't know if there's much racing value because I don't know many people that actually race SUVs. So I guess keep that in mind. Hopefully you guys, you know, think this video is useful to decide if you want to go ahead and purchase this vehicle, get some ideas on the customizations. I would say for the price, I kind of give it a thumbs up. The fact that you can't race it, you know, like most normal people would, kind of is a, you know, I'd say negative for me. But regardless, it's not bad for $500,000. So if you have this car, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know if you like it. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.